it's not very often in wheelchair kind of design that I get really, really excited. But I have found a company that do Loopwheels, and I had an original pair, which was the classic, and I got rid of them and I instantly regretted it. I absolutely, the minute I saw the guy walk off with them, I was like, what have I done? But the classics, which I will show you a little clip of now on screen, the classics were great, but because they were the original design, they were a little bit heavier. The actual design of the loop was a little bit heavier, and I struggled a little bit lifting them in and out of the car, and I thought that I could live without them. I can't live without them. A lot of my work, I'm on a tri-ride, and even on flat surfaces, where I go in Manchester, they've got a LCD kind of TV and they're showing the news, and as I'm looking up at this news, my vision is blurry. Everything's just kind of blurry. So I really feel like I'm going to destroy my retinas if I don't get another pair of Loopwheels. And I had a chat to the lovely people at Loopwheels, and Gemma has sent me a little present, and it was my birthday this week. So it's perfect timing. I've never been more excited to open a box in all my life. So let's get them out. And I'm going to do a proper like review video of them and talk over all the different bits. So this is just the unboxing. Packaged very, very well and very quick delivery. Now, full disclosure, Loopwheels have actually sent this to me so I can actually review them and use them. But you can also try it for £35, which just covers the cost of the postage to and from. You can try them for 2 weeks, and I really, really recommend, like, don't just trust my words, actually try these and give them a whirl, because I've sat in a wheelchair for like decades, and when I sat on a pair of Loopwheels, it felt spongy, which initially I was like, oh, I don't know whether I like this. But actually it smooths out so many of the bumps and so many of the vibrations that you get through your body that I loved it. There's not many times in wheelchair design where things change like dramatically. It's always like little design changes, but this is like a monumental shift in how we think about wheelchairs. So let's go. Ooh. We have paperwork. Now I've also been sent a couple of the axle pins because it depends on what type of chair you have. I have an RGK sub 4, so each wheelchair has a different size axle pin. But what they've done, which is lovely, is they've sent me 3 different axle pins, and then I'll work out which ones that I need and I'll send the other ones back. And I think this is what these are. Yep. Whole bag of axle pins, which, oh no, these are the, that's amazing. These are the different samples of hand rims, because not only are Loopwheels designed to really take out all the vibration, they're also looking at doing quite a lot in terms of the hand rim. What occurs to me is that this is how I interact with my chair. So I've always designed a wheelchair, spec'd a wheelchair, especially with that one, with the sub 4, I spec'd it, and they said, oh, what wheels do you want on it? Do you want spinach? I was like, yeah, okay. So I've always designed the chair first and then just bunged a pair of wheels on. But actually it's called a wheelchair. So I'm redefining a little bit of how I think about a wheelchair, because I interact with the wheels. I touch the wheels, I touch the hand rims, the wheels touch the ground, that gives the vibration. So really and truly, I'm kind of reconfiguring it, thinking maybe I should start with the wheels first and then pick the chair after, because the wheels are actually the really important bit. So these are a load of samples of different, I can feel them through the bag, different hand rims. So we'll get into those a little bit later. Oh. Should we get it out? Amazing. Look at this. Oh, they smell brand new as well. Right, let's get one out. Oh, new wheel smell. Look at that. That is incredible. And they are a lot lighter than the classics that they did. So the classics had kind of more of the bit in between. But you can see, actually, I'm going to stare through this. The design of this is actually an archery limb. It's manufactured by a company that makes archery bows. And you can really see it in the design. That is like 3 archery limbs, all carbon fibre as well. That looks amazing. And I had the old classics for about 4 years, and in that time the only thing that had gone wrong on them is that well, not particularly wrong, but the sticker had started to come up on the actual wheel. But with these ones, the logo is actually in the lacquer, which is really nice. But I think for 4 years, for the sticker to just come up on the corner isn't particularly bad, considering I took them off-road and did lots of stuff with them. So what they've also sent me is you can pick what hand rim you want, and we'll go through the different samples in a second. But I, as of my last chair, started to use the hand rims that have got a little bit of a grip on the top layer, and they're slightly more oval shaped, you can see. And up till then, I was just using like metal hand rims, and if it rains, if there's any kind of moisture or anything, as you know, like trying to push metal, it was just, you couldn't really go anywhere. But these ones have got that beautiful like little bit of grip there. And then if you want to kind of freewheel a little bit and let the, say you're going downhill, you can use the fingers on this side bit and still be able to kind of control your descent. So that's beautiful. And apparently these are a little, these are the originals, and these are a little bit of a copy of these. So it's actually really nice to have the original proper ones that were designed like that the first time. They're gecko, which is really nice. So in terms of the weight of them, they're so much lighter than the originals. I mean, there's not really much to them. They're 3 limbs. I don't think I've ever had a set of wheelchair wheels that has had so little spokes. They're amazing. So this is, and I don't know how I feel. Don't know how I feel about these, because I only had a chat with a friend of mine the other day. These are wooden hand rims, but apparently they're better for different temperature changes. So you don't, it's not like your chair's in like the sunshine and then you go to such a hand rim and it's really hot. So, but I don't know how I feel about these. It's a new little, I mean, they feel amazing. They feel really good. And look at the different colours. Quite like that one. The idea is, yeah. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on the wooden hand rims, because I wouldn't have ever thought, I think it's because I destroy my hand rims quite a bit. I have to get like a key and sometimes like scrape some of the dents off. Veggie, I like that one. I just like the fact that it's called Veggie. So these are what I would call standard hand rims. So that is just your, that's a normal black one with a metal, but it's got like, you can actually see a little bit better this little grippy part, which is great. And I've only just started using those, and they really do in bad weather, cold weather, which in the UK we have a lot of. That actually makes all the difference. So I used to have just the normal black one. That's what I rolled with most of the time. See, and you can have a slightly bigger one as well. So you can also choose how far you want the hand rim away from your wheel. So whether you want to be able to kind of grip it and have a good grip all the way around, or whether you want it slightly closer to the wheel. So they're more traditional ones. And then we have, these are, I love the little logo on it. So these are the different colours that you can have of the limbs. I'm going to call them limbs. Not sure that's the correct term, but they're actually archery limbs. So, so these are the different colours you can have in the urban model, which is the one that I've got. So they do the urban model, they do an LT, and then they do an extreme. The extreme is more for things like off-roading. The LT is kind of slightly for lighter wheelchair users. But in the urban, look, you can have all these different colours, which are really nice. I'm not sure you can see that, but that's kind of glowing. That in the light, that kind of goes a bit of blue, which is nice. And then this one is a little bit red. I really like this one. And then you've got the black. So I went for the black because I play a lot of different characters. So even though David would choose probably the red, if I'm going to do characters in films and different bits, you can't go wrong with standard black. But and they do look amazing. That's really nice. And then you also have, these are great. So these are the options you can have for the center of the wheel. So you can have the purple. I really like the purple. Big up to the purple pound, which is average spending of disabled people in the UK. I think it's 1.49 billion. So that's nice, represented in purple. Again, I really like the red. I don't know what it is at the moment. I used to be really a fan of blue, but like the red I'm really liking. And then the green. So you can choose this, and you can choose the limb that you want. So you get an idea that you can kind of customize it, which is really nice. I do love a bit of customization in wheelchair design, because when I started using a wheelchair, everything was medical. It was horrible. Like the designs of it were all awful. So the more times I get to choose a color or a different design, I just love it, because it makes it actually feel like you can make it your own and you can have it the way you want it. See, I have a RGK Sub 4, which is a really ridiculously light wheelchair. And the lightness of the wheelchair means that when I push, I'm not putting as much pressure on my shoulders. So there is a little bit of a payoff, because these are slightly more heavy than the Spinergy, but you've got to think about what these are doing. These are stopping all the vibration that will be going through my spine. So every time I do a drop curb, any time that I'm moving in it, and especially if I'm using the tri-ride, which goes really, really fast, that's going to stop all of the vibration through it. So I think the payoff, I think this is my perfect setup. You've got the Sub 4 wheelchair. That's my cat wanted to get in on the video. You've got the Sub 4 wheelchair, which is stupidly light, and then you've got the loop wheels, which are going to take the vibration off. And I think the fact that this is nice and light, and these are just a fraction bit heavier than those, I think the payoff is actually good because of what they'll actually do. So the reason why, for me, this is a really, really big issue is I can show you this. Ta-da! That is my X-ray. So I have 3 metal rods in my spine, and that's from teenage as well. So what you can't see that's been added, because I'm now 43 and getting on a bit, that there I have a couple of discs that have taken a little bit of a hit and a little bit of a cyst. So for me, pushing all those years has just put a bit of a strain on there, and it's nothing you can do. It's just, I'm just getting old. But as a wheelchair user, you've got to really protect your shoulders, your neck, your back. So I feel like these are, and I've always said, and this is wrong, I've always said, oh, the RGK is the Ferrari of wheelchairs. And that's wrong, because a Ferrari is a luxury item. and this is an essential item. And I think that these wheels are in exactly the same category. They're still Ferrari level cool, but I think that it's more like, if you think about like a really rugged Land Rover or something, where you're going to get to where you're going and it's definitely going to get you there, and you're going to be there in a lot more comfort. So I need to stop referring to them as the Ferraris, because they are actually an essential item. But that is a beautiful loadout. In the same way, I have a J cushion. I have quite a lot of feeling, but I've been sitting on my bum for decades. J cushion is just a little bit padded at the back. I don't need to use it, and I don't need to have one, but if I have one now, it's going to save a lot of trouble when I get older. So it's like a preventative thing. So the J cushion is a little bit more expensive than if you brought a normal cushion, but I think it's worth it. It's worth this investment in yourself. So the Loopwheels as well, the classics that I had, I used them for 4 years, and they went to a lovely lady who's going to get a lot of use out of them. But they actually held their value as well. I didn't lose any money. I sold them for exactly what I paid for them, which is amazing. So I got 4 years of use out of them, and they kept the value well. And I think these are going to be the same. Like when you look on eBay and things like that, these wheels hold their value. So yes, there's a little bit of an extra cost to them, but it's an investment. It's not like you can spend that money and you'll never see it again. They really hold their value. And they're slightly over-engineered, which I love. I love anything that's slightly over-engineered. These are rated to go at 25 kilometers an hour, but they can probably go a lot more than that. And I love anything that's like engineered, like way beyond what you would actually use it for. So I'm going to do a full review video of these in a couple of weeks once I've had time to put them through the paces. But until then, you can check out all the stuff on Loopwheels. Thank you so much to Gemma and everybody at Loopwheels for sending these over for me to check out. I've never been so excited about a pair of wheels. Their tagline was that they were reinventing the wheel, and I love that.